Right, Mark, good to catch up.
Yeah,
firstly, just looking back on Halifax a little bit,
yeah.
It took a lot of resiliency, that performance, didn't it, from your team?
Yeah, as I said straight after the game on Friday, really proud of the effort, and the composure that we showed. I thought Halifax played really well, and really give it to us. Especially we had to be patient that first half. I thought there were a couple of times we'd done the hard work to earn some opportunities to throw a few shots on them, and then we came up with a couple of pressure releases that we need to fix up. But that's the sort of game that we need to get used to now. That when you're the top of the table, everyone wants to knock you off your perch, don't you? And Halifax certainly showed up and gave us that. So really proud of the resilience that we showed. And then when we got a couple of opportunities, we capitalised on that, and that's what good teams do, isn't it? So really pleased with that. But we're under no illusions too. We do need to fix up one or two things going into another tough game on Sunday versus Oldham.
At this late stage of the season, as a coach, can you forgive if sometimes the performance isn't perfect, but your side are finding a way to get a result? That's
the key word, is finding a way. As a coach, as I said the other week, you're chasing perfection, you're never going to get it. Players are also human. Coming off a 5-day turnaround after the Barrow game, we probably thought we'd be fresher than what we were. I thought there were a couple of tired bodies out there, so it was good that we got a long weekend off, so that the lads could recharge and get a bit of time with the families and a bit of downtime. So hopefully we'll get the benefit of that this week. But definitely proud of the effort that everyone showed. You could see how much they cared about one another and about the team. With how deep they dug to stay in there and then throw a few shots to get the win in the end.
When you see them fight back the way that they did and get a result like that, when you look on as a coach, do you see that that's a mentality thing, do you think?
Yeah, 100% it's a mentality thing. Something that we pride ourselves on really a lot on is that mentality side of things, and making sure that we never give in, never say die, and I think as long as you've got that in your locker, you're in a pretty good spot, are you?
As a group of players, then, do you feel like they're really confident after a result like that? Because sometimes when you're in the trenches, as you say, if you can look left and right and see, look, someone's going to bail me out, that's a good feeling.
Yeah, definitely. As you've just said there, it's really important that you are confident, but we're confident because of the work that we put in training. And they should be confident that they've been on a good run in terms of getting the wins, but we've been getting them wins because we've been working hard in training. And I'm sure there's some days that the lads are thinking, why are we going over this again? Why are we doing that? But my job as coach is obviously to keep that ship steering in the right direction and make sure that we don't get too high, don't get too low, and it's certainly been the case again this week, because we've got another tough game versus Oldham coming up.
As you mentioned, after Halifax, it didn't come without its sacrifices. Liam Harris being one of those. What's the latest with him?
He'll definitely be out this week. We're hoping to get him back before end of season, but we're just waiting on a scan result. It's just part and parcel of the game. Feel for Liam. As for me, we're probably definitely a contender for the Championship Player of the Year so far. He's been in career best form, definitely, and love having him as captain. So hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery. And I thought Sam Cook changed the game when he came on. Had to wait patiently for his time, and he's twisted his MCL. So again, we're just waiting on the scan, but we're hoping it's a grade 1 or 2, and it should be a 3-4 weeker. And hopefully we get him back there too. But it's a good opportunity for others to stand up. Obviously, Atta's due back. We've obviously got Dags that's been there, so it's not a bad position to be in at the same time. So I said there were going to be speed bumps that come. It's just important. It's what comes next, not worrying about what's happened, isn't it?
Just on Liam, to clarify, what was the injury that he suffered?
He's got, by the looks of things, a knee injury to his LCL, so on the ligament on his outside of his knee. So we're just waiting to see how severe that is. If it's a grade 1, obviously it's better news. If it's a grade 3, then I think you're looking at about 8 weeks. So it just depends on how nasty that one is. But I think the main thing is his ACL, PCL seem intact. So we're just waiting for the scan to confirm how severe the LCL injury is.
Obviously, if it's a longer term thing, it'd be a blow for him. How is he doing in himself?
No, Liam's good. He like us all, he just wants to know how severe the injury is. As soon as you get that, you can reverse engineer your way back, can't you? He's not captain by mistake. He's got a real good level head on his shoulders. He'll, obviously, naturally, we're all disappointed, but he'll still be in and around the team. Making sure that them standards get upheld, and as soon as we get a plan in place, he'll be doing everything he can to get back before the year's out.
So how big is it that you have got Atta back now then?
Oh, massive, and that's the importance of having a big squad. When Dags were out, obviously we had the luxury of Tower there, and Taylor Pemberton's back this week too. So obviously, we've still got options in them pivot parts. So that's the nature of a squad game, and with how brutal the game is these days, 9 out of 10 times you're going to have to utilise all your squad throughout the year, aren't you?
Just on that, how is Bailey Antrobus getting on at the minute?
Bailey should be cleared to play again from next week. He's just going through his final week, and then he should be back available for selection versus Hunslet.
Just turning to matters off the field, it's obviously finally been confirmed that Super Leagues could be extended to 14 teams. Just in general, what do you make of that proposition?
In general, I think I get arguments 2 and 4. I think getting rid of the Luke fixtures long term is definitely needed. I think it will be good long term. I think everyone just needs clarity on which teams it is, and then obviously get that time to get your infrastructure and your squads in place, and then what the leagues look like underneath it. But as I say, it's good that there's been an announcement. I don't really stress myself with it. I'll just leave that to the powers that be, and then obviously the people above me. Clint's got his finger on the pulse with all that. I know he's doing an absolutely outstanding job in making sure that York is Super League ready. I think we're signing such as Paul Vaughan. The wider public can see that, and it's just a case. If we're lucky enough to get that opportunity, we'll be ready. There's no two ways about that. I think there's everything here in York to have a thriving Super League team. And it's just a case of, whether the RFL and the wider audience see that as well. But I think strategically, there's no other club within 20 mile, which I know a lot of current Super League clubs can't say. And, if you put a proper plan in place over the next 5 to 10 years, I think you've got a real good hub for growing rugby league. There's a lot of good amateurs that come out of York, and I know because I used to be in a head of youth job at Wakefield, and I used to come poaching talent out of York all the time, such as Castleford did and such did Hull. And that's how I suppose Wakefield ended up with Oliver Pratt. We got him from Ewith at the time when I was there. So there's definitely the talent there, and it just needs that professional setup above it. And I know one argument someone mentioned to me the other day were about a fan base, and I think York's got a very loyal, passionate fan base. Like anything, if you're in the top league, you attract more fans. It goes without saying. If you have York versus Wigan on a Friday night, for example, in Super League, I guarantee you're getting 7,000 or 8,000 packing this stadium out. There's no two ways about that. So, I think that argument takes care of itself by getting York in Super League. You've got the facilities here. People want to come and see a spectacle and an event, don't they? So I think the fans would follow if York were in the top league, and then I think the loyal 3,000 or 4,000 that we get every week could be there regardless. So I don't understand that argument in terms of fans, because I think York could get fully behind the club, such as they do with York City in football. I think you'd get 7,000 or 8,000 at every home game, if I'm honest with you. Hopefully we get some good news. But I know there's ourselves obviously getting spoken about. There's London, there's Bradford, there's Toulouse. I'm sure there's a couple of other clubs that throw the name in that. The team that we play on Sunday, Oldham. I know they've got ambitions to to go all the way. So it's really easy to get caught in the distraction of all that. And as I say, luckily I'll just worry about picking a team on Sunday, and the rest will take care of itself.
That's going to be my next question. Obviously, Clint and the team behind the scenes will look after the bid and everything. What do you feel like you can do as a coach to help with that prospect?
Obviously, there's conversations that happen behind the scenes. You know, what things will look like and that. But listen, my job's simple. I just focus on coaching a great group of men every week. You know, the group, we've got a fully transparent leadership. People know exactly what's going on, you know, and timelines for if anything does happen. But we're all at the powers that be mercy. We're not hiding anything away. You know, what the headlines you see is what we know, that obviously it's going to expand to 14 teams, but no one knows who them teams are yet. So I'm sure we'll find out soon. But yeah, we're just focusing on putting in another good performance on Sunday, and that's all I can do in my job, is control what I can control, and that's preparing a group of men to play a game of rugby on a weekend.
And that game against Oldham feels like a long time ago since that opening day against Oldham. How does it feel to you looking back? Yeah,
obviously, the starts of the league that we wanted. I think Oldham's been outstanding this year, if I'm honest with you. Longy's a good mate of mine, and I speak to him regularly, and I think he's been lucky in a way, because obviously all the headlines have been on Self, Bradford and Toulouse, but Oldham are right in the mix for that end of season running, and they'll have their own ambitions you know, winning that league too. So we're under no illusions it's going to be a tough game. I think so far this year Oldham's the team that outplayed us that first game of the year. I think structurally they just broke us down, and we got left with his tails between his legs. So you know, we need to be better. Simple as that. I think they're very well coached. Love Longy as a coach. When I coached with him, learned loads off him, really gelled with him. So I'm looking forward to doing battle with him from a coaching point of view again. And I think the main thing is you're going to have two really good championship teams going at each other on Sunday, and you know, hopefully we can put on a great spectacle for everybody.
When you looked at that opening game against Oldham to where your side are now, how does that make you feel seeing that progression?
To be fair, we're always confident. It's interesting when you go through a couple of losses, because you soon find out you know, people's true character. And one thing that really impressed me about the playing group is I knew we had a tight group. It was really interesting seeing a few other people around us that, you know, you start to see a few things that you probably weren't expecting. But yeah, listen, I thought Oldham were outstanding that first game. You know, we got rightly what we deserved, which were a thumping, and it definitely helped act as a catalyst for getting what we've got now. But we're under no illusions. We need to bring out, you know, another performance to make sure that we carry on doing what we want to do. And Oldham will be setting the sights on obviously cutting that deficit and getting where they want to be too.
Mm-hmm. Just finally then, where are the strengths of Oldham for you?
I think they've got a few. I think the pivots are really good. I think Matty Wildy does a cracking job at 9, you know, similar to what Macca does with us when he's at 9. You know, I think Drinkwater and Morgan Smith, or potentially Riley Dean, depending on who they go. I think that's you know, great pivots. They've got some really strong outside backs that get them going forward. They've also got two back rowers that we know very well, Matty Ashurst and Elijah Taylor. I think they're both quality players. Obviously, I coached Tash for a number of years at Wakefield, so I know exactly what he's about, and I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game. He's always that 8 or 9 out of 10, does his job, does what it says on the tin. So Adam Milner in the middle too. Yeah, they've got some good players, as you'd expect. You know, the Oldham's obviously invested heavily in the squad, and they're exactly where I think anyone that knew what they were trying to do behind the scenes probably would expect them to be. They've got a very good and capable squad, and you know, these are the sort of games you want to be involved in. So, you know, we'll focus on ourselves and where we need to get better. Then we'll have a look at Oldham and where their threats are and where we need to be aware. And as I say, it's just one of them games that you look forward to, and you know, hopefully both teams will show up and put on a really good game for everyone, and you know, may the best team win. Simple as that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Mark. You've obviously previously alluded to how pleased you've been with the character of the players, especially in that win against Halifax. How do you sort of going about getting that character within each group of players? Is it just based on the signings? Is that something you look for when you bring them in, or is it something that you generate just as the season goes on?
I think a bit of both. Obviously, you need certain characteristics. Clint does a really good job in terms of recruitment. That it's not only the ability that we look for; it's the character of the person. If you just alluded to there, I think. We've got a real tight-knit group, and that's why you want a tight-knit group, because when you're in the trenches and the going gets tough, you see that side of the character, don't you? But we don't want to be having to do that every week. It'd be nice, if I'm honest with you, if it won't. But it's good to know that you can dig deep and get yourself out of a couple of sticky situations. But I think all the credit's got to go to the players and the playing group. My job as coach is obviously to give them the ingredients to bake the cake, but they've still got to bake the cake, and they're definitely doing that. And I think we've got some fantastic leadership. Obviously, Liam Harris is as captain, but you look at Geordie Thompson, Paul McShane, Jesse D, Atta in Ghana. I could go through numerous players in that team. Tower's been great since he's come in with that calm he's got. So we're just lucky that we've got a number of players that enjoy leading, and there's no egos on them. They know what leading looks like, and when they've got to be at the forefront and when they've got to be behind the scenes doing their job in the machine. So just really lucky that we've got a playing group like that, and all I can say is, as a coach, it's a pleasure to coach them.
You've already mentioned the injury to Sam Cook. Is that almost a frustration to him, coming on, having a really good impression when coming on as well? Is it frustrating to him to now pick up that injury where it's going to keep him out for, you mentioned, I think it was 4 to 6 weeks there?
Yeah, well, could be 4 to 6 weeks, we'll wait for the scan. But yeah, listen, I felt for Cookie on Friday because I was trying to pick the right moment to get him on. He definitely injects a bit of pace and directness around the game, and I just felt in that first half we never really got a foothold in the game, so that's why I left Macca out there, because I think he's got some great composure about him at 9, and I'd love to say it were a coaching masterstroke bringing Cookie on that brought him on, but I think it was just Cookie's quality that shone through. He made something out of nothing, and then Bish, obviously, as Bish has done for the best part of 15-20 years now, he smelt an opportunity and then he took it. So just really pleased that Cookie showed up when we needed him, and it's frustrating for all, but unfortunately that's life, that's sport, and it's a great opportunity for that next man to step up and take their opportunity to cement themselves in the team now.
Taylor Pemberton coming back now. Is it a similar case as before before he got injured, where he's now got to earn his place back on the training pitch? Yeah,
100%. No shirts are given. And that goes right from Geordie Thompson and Macca through to the younger end. But Taylor had done some really good stuff up until he got his injury at Widnes. He'd really buckled down at training and showed everyone what he's about. And he's a great young man to coach, and I've no doubts he'll be one of the most professional lads out on that training field, doing everything he can to earn his shirt back.
Oldham on the weekend. You've already mentioned you've got a good relationship with their head coach.
Yeah.
Where's that sort of come from? Is it just from managing against him, or is it a case, did you have any playing days together?
We probably did play against each other. Longy probably got rested when he were playing against a team with me in it, because they thought we don't need to use his strike weapons against him. But no, listen, known Longy for a few years. Just good guy. Obviously, makes the game seem really simple, as a lot of good players do, because it is, and just clicked with him. I think his coaching styles are very similar. I think we've got similar philosophies on the game. Obviously, I like my defence. Longy likes his attack as well as his defence, but we just got a good relationship. So we keep in contact, and I enjoy chatting rugby with him as well. But just a good guy, and it's fantastic to see him doing well. I thought he was really hard done by Fev. When he was there, if I'm honest with you, I think if they'd kept hold of Longy, I think Fev would have been playing Super League instead of London that year. And that's not a dig at anyone. I think that's just my opinion on it. And I think he's shown his quality now that he's gone to Oldham, and it's no mistake that Oldham are where they are, and Longy's got to take a lot of credit for that.
with York and Oldham being clearly two of the most ambitious clubs in the Championship right now, is this just a great advertisement for Championship rugby?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I think any time, you know, you could argue you play any of that top 6, it's normally, well, I'd say the top 9, the great spectacles, aren't they? So yeah, definitely, I'd like to think it's going to be a good game. You know, hopefully we'll come out on the right side of it. But yeah, you've got two very, very evenly matched teams. You know, going at each other I'm just looking at the field now. It looks in outstanding condition. Hopefully we'll get the weather with us, and it's just about who shows up on the day. You know, I know naturally we get a lot of headlines because we've been knocking a few wins out, but we're under no illusions. Like, you know, people will be smelling blood too. They'll have seen that we've lost his captain, you know, and lost Cookie, and we're going to make sure that we show them what we're about, and we stand up and we'll be counted, and we're sure we can win without, you know, a skipper and one of us as pivotal players that come off the bench. So good challenge for us too.
Last one from me. With all the talks surrounding the Super League, how reassuring is it to you knowing that, you know, you've got a chairman in Clint who clearly has those lofty ambitions of getting there, and he's been very vocal about that so far as well?
That's the reason I came to York. You know, obviously I'd had a taste of it with Wakefield. You know, as I say, I were in a lucky position that I had a bit of time on my hands, that I could pick a job that you know, I felt aligned to where I wanted to be, and the first thing Clint said is that I want to be in Super League with York. And when I came and told the facility, not only the ground but the training facility, I think the city speaks for itself, doesn't it, with how much tourism it gets every year. You know, we've got a thriving community rugby league set up. I know Endo's doing a lot of good stuff in terms of getting the youth system set up. You know, there's good partnerships getting born with Penrith, obviously, and Newcastle. And once all that aligns over the next 3 to 5 years, I think you're going to have a real powerhouse of rugby league on your hands, and that's not possible without Clint, you know, and his ambition to take York to the top of the tree. It's as simple as that. If you want to compete with, I mean, you've got to take a lot of what's the right word here? Enthusiasm out of what Hull KR and Wakefield's done. You know, I can only speak from Wakefield from being obviously on the other side of it. I remember when Matt first came in, and you know, obviously before I got sacked, he was talking through what the ambition were, and it wasn't just a case of wanting to buy Wakefield and then get back into Super League and just compete. It would get back into Super League and win the thing. You look at Hull KR, you know, they obviously had to take a bit of a hit. They got relegated, and their ambitions were then to get back into Super League and win things. And I think Willie's doing a fantastic job there. Obviously, they got the cup this year, and they're full steam ahead for the league leaders. And you know, I'm sure they'll have the sights on the playoffs as well. And you know, if you want to kind of get to them levels, you've got to have ambition, and Clint's definitely got that ambition. And then my job's to make sure that mindset's right with everyone. We don't just want people that are happy winning whatever it is, whatever you tell me every week, 10 games or whatever. It's all irrelevant if we don't win things. You know, and we want to reward people for having that mindset. So we want to pride ourselves on competing every week. And listen, we're not stupid. We know it's not just going to happen within a year, 2 years. You know, you've got to put proper plans in place, and naturally that takes resources as well. So you know, Clint's doing a really good job in driving ambition, stirring up interest, and then my job is just really simple. That I get a coaching squad. Get a coaching team, then we get a playing squad, and we just focus on putting our best foot forward every week to match up to the ambition of the club.